Ken?
Hey Bart, how are you?
Good, how are you? Welcome back.
Thank you, great to be here.
Yeah, good to see you in person.
It's wonderful. I had trouble finding a parking space downtown. It's great to see everybody out and about.
It's amazing. I don't know if you got to see Food Truck Tuesday as it was winding down, but it was the biggest, I think it was the biggest Food Truck Tuesday we've had.
I'm a big fan of food trucks.
Yeah, me too. Well, the United Way has been continuing the mission. I think your job got even harder with the pandemic, but how'd the year go?
Yeah, it was a great year. We just, in fact, we just had our annual meeting and we posted that online. So if people would like to see more detail, please go to our website, uwjackson.org, and check it out. But, you know, it was a big year. We stood up a lot of work for COVID, obviously. Our job is to help the community and figure out how to bring resources to bear on its biggest needs. And COVID was clearly the biggest need of the last year. So in partnership with the Community Foundation, we ended up raising about $420,000 for the COVID Relief Fund. And as you know, we bought diapers and baby formula and sanitary items and gave some cash grants to nonprofits to keep their doors open. So that was a tremendous amount of work. United Way also stood up a food distribution and got over 1.5 million pounds of food distributed over the last year. So me and my team spent pretty much every Saturday in the parking lot passing out food in addition to our regular work, which was keeping our regular program investments going. And so that went very well as well. We had $480,000 invested last year in our nonprofit partners, and we checked with them throughout the pandemic. They were all still working hard, still doing good work. So all that money continued, all that good work continued, and we're really pleased. A couple of our new partners like Nation Outside and Partial to Girls really stepped up and did great work during the pandemic. And so then in addition to that, of course, we do our utility work. That's big business, several $1 million a year. And one thing we've done is focus even more on Jackson County assistance. So this year we have helped over 500 families get enrolled in utility assistance, which can be life-changing, thousands of dollars of assistance coming in. And then finally, you remember the great 2-in-1 program we built about 20 years ago when people said, why do we need 2-in-1? The pandemic proved again what a wise move that was. We had 11,700 calls to Jackson County 2-in-1 just for pandemic questions. I lost my job because of the pandemic. I can't find childcare. I think I may have COVID, in addition to all the regular calls they got. So we're really pleased that 2-in-1 was there to step up during this last year.
As we hopefully come out of the pandemic, did we, as a community, see new problems created that are going to have a longer impact?
Yeah, actually, I'm talking to my good friends around the community. In fact, at the food bank, they're projecting a 7 to 11 year tail on this. That as they look at employment numbers, people won't be fully back. The economy won't be fully recovered for 7 more years. So we're talking about rebuilding now. You know, the relief work is done, but the rebuilding work is going to take some time. And we haven't even seen the housing crisis that's coming. You know, the eviction moratorium is still in place, but we expect that to expire soon, and a lot of damage to come from that as well.
Well, you typically go into places of employment to make a pitch for donating to the United Way, but you couldn't do that this year.
No.
So did it impact your ability to raise money during the campaign?
Yeah, while we were doing all that other COVID relief work, we were losing sleep over the campaign this fall. You know, we call companies and say, we'd like to come in and talk to you. How do we do that? We did it all digitally this year, obviously, and had that all ready, but a lot of companies just weren't answering their phone. And so we were bracing for the worst. Some United Ways were down over 30% this year just because people didn't call them back. But what we found was most of the companies that ran a campaign last year in Jackson ran it again this year. Even if they didn't call us, they ran it anyway, and they sent us the money. So we ended up 15% down from prior year, 1.14 million, which was enough to keep our partner programs whole. We did a little belt tightening at United Way, but we were able to keep all of our commitments whole, and really pleased that the community stepped up that way.
Nice.
Yeah.
Are there some companies or organizations that you want to highlight for their generosity?
Well, of course. I did send you a slide. I don't know if you got it, but yeah, there it is. At our annual meeting, we recognized our top 10 companies, and these guys really contribute the vast majority of the funding that we have each year. Consumers Energy is more than half the campaign every year. Mackey and Eaton Aerospace and our good friends at Alro and Industrial Steel, they're usually round out the top 5. True Community Credit Union, you know, formerly CP, is always huge. LJ Ross has been a real shining star. That company is just growing and blossoming, and they've been there for us for the last couple of years in a big way. And as you see, the final 3, ISD, Western Schools, and UPS rounded out the top 10. So big shout out to them, and thanks to every other company and every other donor that gave. We needed your money more than ever, and we did great things with it this year. So really appreciate that support.
Awesome. Yeah. I've noticed UPS people here in Jackson are becoming more involved in the community. And I don't remember seeing UPS as one of the big
Oh yeah, they've
UW.
been
Have
in
they?
our top 10 pretty much every year I've been
Oh,
here.
great.
They have a really strong national partnership with United Way, so we benefit from that end. But they also let us in every fall. We go and talk to all their drivers one morning, and they've done some really interesting stuff. They even ran a golf outing for us a couple years
That's
ago.
right, and
Made some extra money.
They actually sponsored a golf outing for the Jackson County Animal Shelter
Yeah.
this month too.
They're great guys. They work really hard, but when they have the free time, they always lay it down for the community.
Yes,
Yeah.
they deliver.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I've been on the board. I was looking at the photos, the lineup. It's all new people since I've been there.
I know. Well, you turned off a while ago. Maybe we need to bring you back. Yeah.
You've turned around. You've turned over the board. Who's because at the annual meeting you elect the officers.
We did. We elected 3 new people this year. Brendan Beer, the attorney in town, who's was on the board many years ago, decided to come back. Cheryl Ragland, who's the city's Human Resources Commission director and college professor after retiring from consumers. And then Colleen Sullivan, our former labor liaison, was appointed to our board. She left us a few months ago and went to work for the state in a great position. But labor had an opening on the board and they brought her back. So now she's my boss, which is awesome. So yeah, it's a great board. I really appreciate the diversity we have. We have a lot of different folks from different disciplines, but every single one of them really loves this town and is willing to lay it down for us.
I know your annual meeting, you also honored a longtime volunteer, board member, supporter, community, just a community fixture, Cheryl Norrie, who
Yes.
passed away just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, we didn't know that she was that ill. We knew that she'd been hospitalized, but I thought she was on the mend, so we were really sorry to hear that. Cheryl was on our board for many years. She was the Volunteer of the Year in 2013. She helped run the campaign cabinet 2014, 2015. She was the judge of our cardboard boat race for many years. She was just always there for us. So few people have been there as long as Cheryl has, and we will certainly miss her.
Yeah, Cheryl was really the community's connection for Mackey, as we all know, Japanese company with most of the time Japanese speaking management who really weren't able to connect with the community as much as Cheryl was able to on their behalf.
Yeah.
And she did not only a lot for the United Way, but she had a lot of educational and environmental organizations that she helped Mackey support,
Yeah.
including Dahlem as one, but
And animal rescue, that was what she was really about. Yeah, she loved that more than
She was
anything.
an animal lover, and
Yeah.
she cancer, and she was, we thought, as you said, on the mend, but she lost that battle. So thanks to the United Way for that honor for Cheryl. That's really nice.
We miss her. Yeah.
So we've got to pick ourselves up and dust ourselves off and go forth into another year, hopefully less pandemic-centric. What's the next year look like for the United Way?
Yeah, we've been in COVID relief mode for a year, and now we're sort of calling this rebuilding mode. We know that the tail is going to be long, that there are still a lot of people struggling to meet basic needs. A lot of kids got behind in school, so we're doing a lot of catch-up. So we are funding our current round of program partners for a few more months, and then we'll take requests for proposals and see if we need to change up funding. But we are continuing all that work and continuing the utility assistance work, of course. We're really trying to dive deeper into this whole financial stability milieu, though. You know, we used to just give money to a few organizations and say, do good work with it. But the deeper we get, the more we understand it, the more we realize there are particular needs we need to fill. So we're looking at that, still looking at that Ethnos building as a potential housing and employment solution, because we know both those things are huge issues. And we have a lot more work to do in our DEI committee. We really want to make sure that our diversity, equity, and inclusion game is at its fullest, and we're targeting those disadvantaged populations whenever possible to give them equitable opportunities to succeed.
Well, you mentioned homelessness, and I know one of the projects that you've been working on is acquiring the former New Tribes Bible Institute
Correct.
next to the hospital. What's the status of that?
It's been a really interesting process. We do have a offer in, which they haven't accepted yet. They have some conditions we're still trying to negotiate. But from what I can tell, and I've had confirmation from a lot of folks, the building is a bargain. It's, you know, it's not being snapped up by anyone else because it's so unique, but it contains a childcare, it contains gyms, it contains a laundromat, classrooms, and a whole lot of living space. There's nothing else like it. So we believe it would be well suited to be repurposed into an employment solution where folks could live very low rent or at no rent for a short period of time, as long as they went through some programming to address whatever barriers they have to work and then get into the workplace. So we're really excited about that. We think that there's a great potential, and I'm making the case to city and county government now to put a little money into a pot. If they can do that, I think we can move this forward. If not, I'm not sure where we will find the funding. It's a pretty tough time to run a capital campaign right now, but the opportunity is clearly huge, and it would be a good move for Jackson if we could make it happen.
Does the need match the opportunity, Ken? It's a huge
Yeah.
campus, and you know, do we have people? Do we know how many people are homeless?
Yeah, I asked the city that question a couple of weeks ago. So they went out and did a point in time count. They went and knocked on the 4 different hotels in town where the city's paying for people to stay. And I think they came up with 287 people just living in those hotels. Plus there's 2 different homeless encampments that kind of rove around the city of people who are sleeping outside. Plus we know there are thousands of people who are couch surfing, staying with their auntie or their mom. Really, they should be on their own. And so we think if we can couple affordable housing with some work supports and get them on track to earn more money, instead of building a lot more subsidized housing, let's get people prepared to enter the housing market at market rate, and that's what we aim to do.
All right, to be continued.
Yeah.
What do you need from the community then to be successful as you move forward this year?
We always need support, and the key to support is understanding. So we do ask people to study these issues. You know, poverty is complex, homelessness is complex. You don't learn about it from a meme you read online. So do the research, read the data, think about it, talk to your friends, and then support United Way. If you can give some cash, please do that. And then one other thing I almost forgot, we have an upcoming opportunity. Our Job Star program is working to ensure that re-entering citizens can get hired as well. In fact, West Michigan has put this in their economic development plan. If they help businesses hire more folks who are returning from prison, it's going to be good for the economy and good for all of us. And so we're hosting a conversation on June 29th for employers to learn more about how to do that safely and successfully and really support those folks so they can become your most valued employees.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great to see you. Thanks for all the updates.
Thank you, Bart. Great to be here.
The President and CEO of the United Way of Jackson County, Ken Toll. Stay tuned. We've got a few more things happening.